So if you've noticed, that's what we call as the live synchronous hybrid or Hyflex learning, where the teacher is teaching both online and on-site students at the same time. Now, why are we choosing hybrid or Hyflex right now? Just to give you an idea, before when we did remote learning for the past 2 years, for other countries they have already started hybrid or Hyflex even before, because they have a better better way of facing so as to say a response with their education system and their government. But what we're doing right now is, because we're slowly opening ourselves to limited face-to-face or in-person learning, our response to this is actually hybrid or Hyflex learning, if the school would like to make use of technology further. So why are we doing this? What's the context? What's the why behind it? It's gradual transition from full-time remote learning back into the classroom. So that's what we're doing right now, limited in-person instruction. There's a lot of pilot classes in both private and public schools that are doing this right now. But this limited in-person instruction is brought about by the continued physical distancing recommendations and other health safeguards. Of course, why are we doing hybrid Hyflex learning? Because we need to be ready, because if there's a threat of resurgence, it requires us to switch from in-person to remote learning again, to make sure that we have a learning continuity program. So if you've heard, like for example, in other countries like China, South Korea, Singapore, there's this surge of COVID cases again. That's what we're saying here. We don't know when the threat of resurgence will come again, but we want to be ready. We want to be ready for a resilient education or learning continuity. Of course, this context is in addition to the current challenges that we have right now. So in remote learning, we have student adoption, engagement, and equity as challenges. We have a very scarce number of teachers, or infrastructure capacity managing increasing operational complexity, which means that if you are an administrator, you would understand this. Operational complexity, which means that how are we able to operationalize all the different processes of a school. From the administrator point of view, you would understand this, especially if, for example, if you're teaching in a private school and the enrollment is going down, but you need to maintain salary, you need to ensure that IT infrastructure and all of those things, that's operational complexity. And then switching from remote to in-person instruction models, as we talked about a while ago. So this is the context of our adoption. But the most important thing is our goal is for us to have a resilient education. A resilient learning continuity program, which means that regardless of what's happening, we should be able to say that we are able to continue learning for our students. This is from UNESCO. All of the things that I'm saying right now, a lot of these are coming from UNESCO. And if you look at this document, they have actually published this like a year or 2 years ago or a year ago, because that is what we want to happen right now. There's this, if you look into your screen right now, there's a short diagram or a simple diagram there, which shows us the relationship between opening the school and the school's ability to do remote learning in the context of the pandemic, by the way, in the context of the pandemic. So schools fully open, schools are able to offer remote learning as the highest, the X and Y axis in the diagram. That means that we are able to hit our goal of resilient learning continuity. But as we go down further, and we are unable to offer remote learning, then we are actually sinking into no learning continuity area. So what we're doing right now is to hit that regardless if the school is fully open or if the school is able to offer remote learning program, if we hit both of those things, then we are able to have a resilient learning continuity. It's where they meet, right? So this is the what and the why. The what and the why of hybrid or Hyflex learning. The next one is the how. So how do we enable hybrid or Hyflex learning? So there are framework and practices that UNESCO is offering us. And I'm basing this from the UNESCO COVID response. UNESCO is recommending the three-step approach. This is very simple to understand. By the way, it's so quick. It's so quick to understand, but at the same time, it could be very very challenging to operationalize everything. That this is the reason why Rex Academy and the whole team behind this webinar series is doing this webinar series, because we want to guide you in order for you to be able to come up with a solid hybrid or high flex learning program. And let me start with the process of UNESCO's three-step approach. Step one is basically to understand and envision. Second step is to decide and design. And the step number three is to enable and execute. Now, let us dig deeper into the different steps.